With the sheer cost of pure word translation dropping to practically zero, the entire economic foundation of the independent language professional is experiencing a profound existential crisis. At the BP26 Translation Conference and TAUS Convergence 2026, industry heavyweights like Renato Beninato, Arla Lamo, and Edwin Trebles are tackling the brutal reality of LSPs and freelancers competing against Generative Engine Optimization, or GEO, and relentless automation. But as fully AI-driven pipelines become trivial to build, a new, highly lucrative role is emerging: the human architect of trust, deploying Knowledge Graph Mediated Translation, or KGMT, to serve as the ultimate regulatory and liability shield. We are breaking down the biggest existential shifts in the language space right here on locanicu.com, localization news you can use. And when that intelligent, perfectly contextualized content goes out into the wild, it has to be found. The outbound side of the equation, search, is undergoing an extinction-level event. Creative Words and Web Visibility are teaming up to tackle GEO, Generative Engine Optimization. Their goal is to ensure brands maintain multilingual visibility across AI-generated search responses, deploying specialized tools like Tracker Agent and LLM Tracker. Traditional SEO is rapidly decaying. Users are asking complex, conversational questions to AI chatbots, and the LLM synthesizes a direct answer natively. If you are a CMO, your nightmare is ensuring an AI chatbot actually recommends your specific product when a user in Tokyo asks in Japanese or a user in Dubai asks in Arabic. GEO is about teaching the ghost in the machine how to speak your brand's specific dialect across borders through semantic anchoring and data structuring. You structure your multilingual content so perfectly, utilizing advanced schema markups and knowledge graphs, that when the LLM ingests your data, it recognizes it as the highest possible linguistic authority on that subject. You are feeding the retrieval augmented generation pipelines directly. It is like psychological inception for algorithms. But executing that semantic inception in 50 different languages simultaneously places immense pressure on independent linguists. This brings us to the human element. The BP26 Translation Conference in Avignon heavily focused on independent translator sustainability, the sheer impossibility of pricing services under intense machine translation pressure, and the profound existential shift in the industry. Practitioners are feeling the economic ground move beneath them. Stefan Huyg sparked a massive debate by highlighting Renato Beninato's core premise: if translation is free, what exactly are we selling? In the eyes of the enterprise buyer, basic word conversion is a solved, cheap computational problem. It's practically air. So LSPs and translators must desperately pivot to selling risk mitigation, global customer experience, and measurable economic impact. Beninato noted a scenario where a massive localization budget dropped from $30 million down to $6 million. On paper, it looks like an apocalypse, but he argues the actual profit margins improve. Think about transitioning your business model from a massive commercial cargo ship hauling thousands of tons of cheap plastic goods to a highly specialized, ultra-secure armored transport moving a single briefcase of flawless diamonds. When you are the cargo ship, revenue is massive, but overhead is astronomical, and profit margins are a fraction of a penny. When you become the armored transport, volume plummets, but your take-home profit skyrockets because you are no longer charging for transportation. You are charging a premium for absolute security, undeniable expertise, and extreme risk mitigation. You are selling the armor, not the movement. Domenico Lombardini points out a stark reality. Building a fully AI-driven pipeline is trivial right now. You can take a source document, run it through a fine-tuned machine translation engine, pass it through an LLM for brand-style revision, pass it through another LLM for terminology enforcement via a vector database, and deliver it. But the real bottleneck sits at the end of the chain, and it's epistemic, the bottleneck of truth. Who is willing to legally stand behind that fully automated output? The signature of trust still has to be fundamentally human. The product is the human being at the end of the chain who puts their hard-earned professional reputation and legal liability on the line and says, yes, I guarantee this won't get you sued. We have stopped being mere linguists and have evolved into architects of trust. Edwin Trebles is actively trying to systemize that exact trust architecture, discussing a framework called Knowledge Graph Mediated Translation, or KGMT, specifically designed for regulatory compliance. He's previewing it for the TAUS Convergence 2026 conference alongside Viveda Jain and Prasad Yalamanchi. KGMT acts as an intelligent regulatory filter using a color-coded scoring system. Imagine an American firm localizing packaging for the Japanese market, and the source text uses the term organic certified. A standard AI will give you a perfect direct Japanese linguistic equivalent, but legally, the knowledge graph acts as an invisible regulatory tripwire. It knows that using that specific term in Japan without passing the strict Japanese Agricultural Standard, or JAS, audit is a massive legal violation. The system cross-references the Japanese regulatory ontology and flags the sentence bright red. It catches the liability, not the typo. The AI can translate words, but it lacks the contextual awareness of real-world consequences. This echoes what Aralamo warns regarding human-in-the-loop models, where LSPs use senior professionals as glorified janitors to sweep up AI messes. He argues the true irreplaceable value lies in human situational awareness, the ability to spot peripheral risks an AI literally cannot comprehend. An AI cannot read the room. Imagine a localized German manual for industrial chemical mixing. A tired editor accidentally deletes the word always from the source English text. The AI will perfectly translate the exact erroneous words on the page, but the meaning changed drastically. The human translator with a chemistry degree looks at the formula, relies on lived experience, and realizes that without that word, the resulting mixture will be highly explosive. The human stops the press. The human situational awareness saved lives. We have these premium visions of the future, but then we slam headfirst into the brutal reality of the present-day market. Miguel Sepulveda makes a very astute observation that enterprise buyers are exhausted by the friction of managing localization. They want LSPs to reduce the setup friction, project management overhead, and endless administrative pain. Execution is table stakes. On the opposite side, Ed Vreeberg points out the harsh reality on job boards like ProZ.com right now. He calls out a major LSP demanding highly experienced professionals to perform machine translation post-editing, where you manually fix AI errors for a dismal rate of 1.5 to 2 cents per word. That is economically crushing. For more strategies on surviving the automation wave, always trust your insights to locanuku.com.